Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of videos about fixing lights. Today, we're looking at a fairly common fix for the Martin Mac Aura and Mac Aura XB, a front head cover replacement. We'll need a few tools: a big pair of cutters or pliers, a Torx 20 screwdriver, and a Torx 10 screwdriver. We'll need a new front head cover, a tilt wire guide and spacer ring, and probably a new tilt sensor. Go ahead and get started by removing the rear head cover, and then get the yoke arms off. Be careful moving the fixture around, since the head is no longer holding the yoke together. We can see the damage here. The post the tilt gear attaches to is broken. Oh yeah, we'll also need some diagonal cutters. We're going to cut 4 zip ties on the side of the head with the buttons and 2 zip ties on the side of the head with the LCD to free the wiring harness. These zip ties are under the main PCB holding the harness to a plastic plate. We'll also need to cut the zip ties holding the harness together and the zip tie holding the ground harness to the fan. The 88-volt DC supply goes through a thermal cutout here under the buttons. The spade connectors are usually pretty tight, so work gently but firmly with a pair of pliers to free them. There are components on the underside of the main board, so be careful not to damage them. Once that's free, you can start removing the connectors around the head. Some of them stay in place, like the zoom header and the LED I/O header. Pry them gently with a small screwdriver or poking device. The ground wire has a unique screw. You'll only remove one of these during this process, so don't lose track of it. Once all the cables are free, you can feed the wires out through the tilt wire guide and free them from the head. Once the harness is out, we need to break the old tilt wire guide to free it from the yoke since it snaps in. Grab your big cutters or pliers and cut around the edge until it comes free, then press it through. At this point, the head will be free since the other side of the cover is broken. Set the rest of the fixture aside. There are 8 small Plastite screws holding the head into the cover. Get these removed and you'll be able to transfer the head into the new cover. Make sure to line it up the right way around. Replace those 8 screws and we can move on. The tilt gear is held on with 3 Plastite screws. Go ahead and remove those and you can take the tilt gear off. Be careful not to damage the tilt sensor if it's still intact. Typically the flag on the gear will destroy the sensor, which is the little black goalpost thing in the middle of the board. If it's okay, we can leave it in place. If it's damaged, remove the 2 small T10 screws to take it off. Now we need to get the harness into the tilt wire guide and spacer ring. Just feed everything through. Make sure you put the spacer ring on such that it fits flush with the edge of the wire guide. Try not to tangle up the harness too much. Now you can feed the harness through the hole in the yoke and snap the tilt wire guide into place. Let's get the tilt gear back into place. Remember, it only goes on with 3 screws. We want to install it such that when the head is pointed straight up, the flag is just entering the sensor. It'll want to flop around a lot without the tilt belt installed. Be careful. Reinstall the tilt belt, and now we can work on getting the harness back into place. It's important to work very neatly. You can see a little cheat sheet I made for reconnecting the harness to my left here. I'll get a link to that in the comments. Once you've got the harness reconnected, you'll need to tuck the harness into the little trough and fix it into place using 4-inch zip ties. There's little holes in the plastic plate the mainboard is attached to. I like to bend the tip of the zip tie upwards and push it up from underneath, then pull the end of it back towards me with a small hook. Pull them tight. Pay careful attention to the bundle where the harness passes through the yoke. If that isn't neat, the rear head cover won't go back on properly. Trim the ends of the zip ties, and we're ready to test this fixture out. Looks like everything's working as expected. This is a fairly common fix for these lights and doesn't take too long once you've got the hang of it. Good luck out there.